What's up, Fearless Nation? This is Stacy Dash, and if you're into heavyweight boxing, then you have to check out Jay's Theory. He covers everything inside the ring and outside the ring, completely unbiased. So subscribe today. Peace.
What's up, my nation that's fearless? You guys check out the fights, Tyron Woodley versus Jake Paul. What'd you guys think? First off, I noticed when they showed Jake Paul walking when he first got in the building, I noticed his legs looked funny, kind of like Pulev did in his last fight with Dillian White. And Jake Paul admitted after the fight his legs were a bit shaky. I don't know if it was nerves or what. But I think the fight, well, let's start with the undercards. Baranchik and Love. That was a great fight. I mean, Baranchik was, he was game for it. He was game. Let me wet my palate, because this might be a long one. Wet my joint, know what I mean? All right, let's go. So, Baranchik and Love. Love, they said, never been down in the amateurs, never been down in the pros. This guy was, he was game. He was coming in with the high guard, and he was kind of trying to walk Love down, and Love would throw hooks and then immediately move to the side. The thing that was so impressive about Love was his accuracy. I mean, I'm going to put this right here. The thing that I noticed was his accuracy. Love would come right down the middle with shots, and, Baranchik had his gloves up the whole time, and Love would just time him. The minute he threw something, he would just go right down the middle. And I'm like, what are his trainers telling this guy? If a guy's hitting you and your guard's still up, doesn't that mean you need to move your right over a little bit? Move something over so you're not getting hit down the middle, elbows or something? They're paying these trainers all this money and nobody's making adjustments. But he was catching Love with some shots too. It looked like Love was in trouble a couple times, but that one shot that he got, that Baranchik got hit with, it was just, oh man, it was like a bomb just hit his face, just like boom. And I don't think he quit, because when he got up, the referee asked him if he wanted to continue. He said yeah 3 times. Like, yes, in case you didn't understand, yeah. And I think his corner waved it off. I guess they figured we don't know how to make adjustments, so let's just quit. But he was game, but Love is very impressive. Very impressive. And yeah, go check that fight out, when it becomes available. Who is the next fight? Daniel Dubois. This dude went in there and knocked, what was the guy's name out? Something like Kusamano, but it was Kusamano, something like that. Anyway, Daniel Dubois, this is the best shape I've ever seen Daniel Dubois in, by the way. He looked even better this fight than he did his last one and the one with Joe Joyce. I mean, he just went in there and just did what he was expected to do. And the guy who was fighting had never been stopped. But Daniel Dubois touches down in America, makes a huge debut. The thing I like about him, he seems like a real nice guy. He's all smiles, and you can tell he likes fighting. That's what makes a great champion, when you like fighting. It's not just a job like you dread training. This guy is constantly training, great shape. Looked more defined than I've ever seen him. And shout out to Daniel Dubois. I told you guys he would be back after that Joe Joyce fight. Everybody's just quick to write somebody off, Like, why would you quit if you got your eye socket broken? Would you quit if you got your eye socket broken? Anyway, I'd say that's not quitting anyway, though. It was just an injury. What else could he do? He didn't want to end his career by, fighting with that injury when he knew he had more fights ahead. Anyway, Daniel Dubois touches down, makes quick work of Kusamano. Hope I'm saying his name right. The female fight, it wasn't, the corner of, what's her name, Serrano, show some class. This guy's yelling derogatory things across the ring, and after the fight talking about Mexican fighters have a lot of heart. And if the I forget the Mexican fighter's name, but he's saying if she had any heart, she wouldn't have been backing up. I thought that's low class. He's shouting stuff in between rounds. And even Al Bernstein, who's a class act, said he didn't agree with him. I didn't agree with him either. That was just, in poor taste. H2O break. But I thought that was low class, and he's talking about she didn't have any heart by backing up. Yet when they played back one of the rounds, he was telling his fighter, you don't have to mix it up or go toe to toe. Do it when you're ready. So what are you telling your fighter? You want to diss her, but you were telling your fighter sounds like to move around. And let's see you get in the ring. Let's see how much heart you got. I'll get you if you want some. I don't even know your name, but we could do this. Anyway, let's get to the main event. Jake Paul. First, you got to give him credit for being a YouTuber, having 3 fights, and beating a guy that's been a professional fighter, a street fighter. You got to give him credit for that. He's got a chin. The thing that I noticed that, a more seasoned fighter would take advantage of, Jake Paul has pretty bad balance. I noticed when he even threw a punch, he almost crossed his legs, like his right leg went behind his left, and a good left hook would have knocked him all off balance. And see, balance is the main thing a fighter needs, because even if you're not hurt, you're going to look hurt if you're constantly getting wobbled all over the place. That's one of the first things Emmanuel Stewart changed with Lennox Lewis was his balance. If you got your balance, you're not going to go down, you're not going to get wobbly, and you might not get tired as fast. Because I saw Jake Paul skipping rope on the media workout day. He went like 5 or more minutes jumping rope, didn't mess up once. Not at all tired. He gets in the ring tonight, he's winded. It was the fear of Woodleys constantly pressuring him that got him tired. If you can skip rope that long and not get tired, then you're in shape. So it was the fear and the pressure that Woodley was putting on him. It's just Woodley, his legs looked awkward too, because, he's used to MMA and his legs were real wide apart. I saw him shake out his arms a couple times like he was getting heavy. But Woodley just had to let his hands go. I think he could have taken the fight if he had gotten more aggressive. Now, Woodley won the trash talking before the fight when they had that sit down with Ariel, and they were going back and forth. They had some funny moments. I thought Jake Paul went too far a couple times as usual, but Tyron Woodley, he would say things and Jake Paul would sit there with not really having a comeback. So Jake Paul won the trash talking before the fight. He kind of won it after the fight. He wanted a rematch. They were being nice to him and stuff, but he's like, nah, I think I won because did you see that punch he clocked Jake Paul with where the ropes held him up, which is supposed to be a knockdown. If the ropes keep you from falling, that's a knockdown, but they didn't call it. So he said, if he said in the interview after the fight, he said, if those 7-foot ropes weren't up when I hit you, like you would have gone into the audience or something to that effect. So he said he felt he won the fight, and Jake Paul sounded like you had your chance. And he said, well, if you agree to get the tattoo, then I'll give you a rematch. So Tyron Woodley said, bet. They shook hands, so I guess there'll be a part 2. But the thing that was bugging me when I was watching it, I'm like, Tyron, man, rush this dude. He's a YouTuber. He's not... he was showing him respect like he was in the ring with Ivan Drago. Dude, you've been fighting for years, man, years upon years. This dude's had 3 professional fights. He was just showing him way too much respect. And even if you were fatigued, you can still work through fatigue, man. I was like, the fight is there for the taking if he would just rush him, because he caught him with some great shots, and Jake Paul's got a chin. He didn't go down. He was breathing heavy and moving around the whole time, jabbing. He definitely outlanded Tyron Woodley, but I thought Tyron landed the cleaner, more crisp shots. But let me know what you guys think, because sometimes when you look at fights live and then go back and watch them, you see some things a little different. Sometimes you can be swayed by the announcing. So I'm going to have to look at it again, But Jake Paul, he can definitely improve. He showed heart. He showed a good jab. He's talented. He just has to work on his balance, and he has to work on his conditioning so he doesn't get tired. He can't let someone pressure him because guys are going to pressure him because of his inexperience. So you have to know that going into a fight, you know. If you go into a fight knowing a guy's going to pressure you, you won't fatigue so much, like, you know, and you won't panic, like, oh no, what do I do? Oh, how did I forget Tommy Fury's fight against Anthony Taylor? Tommy Fury is the real deal. Now, people are saying, well, he didn't knock the guy out. But it's kind of hard to knock a guy out when you don't have a dance partner. You ever try dancing with somebody who don't want to dance back? It makes you look, you know, awkward. So the guy's not really throwing anything. He's just kind of waiting and surviving. So it's hard to knock a guy out that doesn't want to exchange. He got in a couple shots, but you could tell Tommy Fury he was on a different level, you know. Shout out to Anthony Taylor. He showed some heart. But Tyson Fury right now, if he were to fight Jake Paul, he would knock Jake Paul out. He puts his punches together well. He's got good balance. He seems extremely fast and really strong. You could hear his shots. They're really crisp. He's the half-brother of Tyson Fury, if you don't know. I think he's a half-brother or brother, you know, one of those. But Tommy Fury was saying by no means is he the finished article. He said he's only had 10 amateur fights. So Tommy Fury's going to be a force to reckon with, you know. The guy's got tremendous skills. I believe he's been boxing since he was 8, even though he's only had like 10 amateur fights. But Tommy Fury won on decision, didn't knock Anthony Taylor down, but definitely had him in some trouble different rounds. And he knew how to put his weight on Anthony Taylor too. So and Jake Paul at the end of the fight didn't sound like he was trying to find himself. He was talking about finding himself before he gets back in the gym. But I'm like, does this guy not want to fight anymore? But I mean, Jake Paul has nothing to be ashamed about. A guy coming from where he comes from, beating a world-class fighter, impressive, you know. Could he have done something better? Yeah, but every fighter could do something better. Tyron Woodley could have definitely done something better. He has to let his hands go. I mean, I see them in there talking to each other and talking crazy and stuff like that, but you got to let your hands go. Like Emmanuel Stewart told Lewis, you can't take them home with you, you know. And when fighters go home afterwards, they look at the tape and like, man, I could have done this and that. I could have done this and that. If you don't swing, you're not going to win the fight. You're in this dude's home state. Even Jake Paul was like, who was the judge that had it for Woodley? He's like, this is my home. This is my home. What you doing? Fight wasn't fixed, but I don't think. But you just have to let your hands go. I mean, if you throw 5 shots, something's gonna get in. And I was hoping he kind of come in with that Tyson style. I was hoping he studied Mike Tyson fights against certain taller fighters, not Tyson Lewis, of course, but like maybe Tyson, Tony Tucker, and some others. Tyson versus what's his name, Tyrell Biggs. You know, come in low and then lunge up with the hooks, but keep your guard up. I was hoping he'd do that. He kind of tried it. He came out in round 1 with a wild right. I was like, oh no. He could have got countered if Jake Paul would have been faster on the draw. But the moral of the story for Tyron Woodley, let your hands go. I think if we get a rematch, I think Jake Paul knew Tyron kind of figured him out and got the kinks out. I don't think he's going to give him a rematch, even if Tyron gets a tattoo. I think he knows that Tyron figured him out, and I think Tyron would hurt him bad in a rematch, especially if Jake doesn't improve on his stamina and his, like I said, his balance was kind of weird. His legs were crossing. He said his legs weren't there, but you know, the balance thing is huge in boxing because you can't do nothing without your legs, you know. You can't do nothing without your legs. So let me know what you guys thought. What you guys think of the announcing? I like the crew, Al Bernstein and the crew. I like them. I wanted to see a knockout. I was wrong. I picked Tyron Woodley to win. Jake Paul won by decision. I said that Tyron Woodley would knock him out in 5, and then I said if he didn't, he'd win by decision. Online, though, on Twitter, they took a poll. 58% said that Tyron Woodley won the fight. So I'm going to have to watch some other channels and see what they thought of the fight. I know some people are saying they saw it as a draw, four rounds to 4 rounds. I think Jake Paul pulled it out just from activity, unless, sometimes judges judge a fight by effective punches rather than the volume of punches. So it's kind of how you see it. Anyway, it's the J. Roos Theory. Make sure to subscribe, comment, like. Let me know what you thought of the fight. And be fearless. Oh, yeah, and the trainer of Miss Serrano, hope I'm saying her name right. Yeah, we can box, homie. Yay, yay.